Liberty lies in the hearts of men and women. When it dies there, no constitution, no law, no court can save it. While it lies there, it needs no constitution, no law to save it. Judge Leonard Hand, 1944. Mighty Willamette, beautiful friend, I am learning, I'm practicing to say your name. As Japanese immigrants arrived and settled on the west coast of the United States during the late 1800s, they brought with them their hopes and dreams of building new lives and raising families in their new home. They brought many aspects of their rich culture and traditions from Japan, and learned and adopted many new traditions of their new country, America. Some started their own businesses and embraced the new opportunities that were afforded them. Even so, they kept and passed their traditions as they raised their children to be Americans. But the sky is darkening on this new generation of Americans. Pearl Harbor is bombed by the government of Japan, and the United States enters World War II. For many, the FBI came and searched their homes unannounced, without warrants, sometimes in the dark of night. For some, they apprehended their fathers and took them away as if they were criminals. These families were uncertain if they would ever see them again. On February 19, 1942, 2 months after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066, which led to the evacuation and internment of 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry residing on the west coast of the United States. The United States Army posted exclusion orders that targeted people of Japanese ancestry and ordered them to report to detention 1 week after the date of posting. It also ordered that the baggage allowed would be only what one could carry. 10 days to undo a life, settle affairs, and prepare for an uncertain future. Their forced detention was behind barbed wire fences and under armed military guard. American citizens and legal resident aliens were denied their constitutional rights. Some were told that it was for their own protection in a war-crazy time. Only the rifles of the guards were not pointed away from them, but at them. Soon after December 7, 1941, the Selective Service System reclassified Japanese Americans eligible for the draft to Class 4C, or enemy alien. Japanese Americans protested the reclassification, even while they knowingly moved closer to internment. In 1943, the 442nd Regimental Combat Team was authorized. It was a segregated Army unit composed of Japanese Americans and became one of the most decorated combat teams in the history of the United States military. On October 10, 1988, with the help of the Japanese American Citizens League and the inspiration of great men like Minoru Yasui, the United States Congress passed and the President signed the Civil Liberties Act of 1988. This was the culmination of a Congressional Commission's report that refuted the United States government's contention that the internment was justified by military necessity. The Commission's report stated that the internment and the violations of civil liberties were the result of race prejudice, war hysteria, and the lack of political leadership. The United States government finally apologized for the imprisonment of over 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry during World War II. The groundswell of community grassroots efforts was not lost in the following years after redress had passed. New community leaders were inspired and motivated by the cause that this horrible part of American history must never repeat itself. It was the Japanese American community that reached out to the Arab American and American Muslim communities whose members were suffering attacks of racial hatred and bigotry after the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. On August 3, 1990, the Japanese American Historical Plaza was dedicated in Tom McCall Waterfront Park in Portland, Oregon. It was the vision of two community leaders, Robert Murase and Bill Naito, who saw the need for a permanent public reminder of the frailty of liberty and civil rights and the unjust internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. With poems etched in stone, the plaza is a monument that stands to remind our citizens of the evil of racial prejudice, greed, and political expediency. To those who had not lived it, it tells a story full of the sorrows and grief, of challenge, of return, of triumph, and of a place that so few of us have experienced but must never forget. It is a memorial that stands for the rights that must blossom in our children and their children. We should not forget the injustices of the past so that we are not doomed to repeat them. The plaza needs your help. Now its stones are worn, its pathways misaligned, its walls cracked and broken. The story is fading. The Japanese American Historical Plaza needs your help to keep your story alive. The Oregon Nikkei Legacy Center needs your help too. The Legacy Center helps to keep the story alive with exhibits, lectures, and tours. Our hope is that as the story lives, we all benefit and thrive. Your contribution is all that stands between the end of the story and a story that continues to help us understand how to be better citizens, letting our similarities bring us together and providing a foundation for a mutual respect for our differences. On behalf of Oregon Nikkei Endowment, the Historical Plaza, and the Legacy Center, please help us continue to tell the story of the Japanese in Oregon and making the case for protecting civil rights and civil liberties and encouraging support of good government. Only with your help and support can we restore the plaza to see the light once again.